It is a huge night rife with anticipation for all 14 NBA lottery teams. The question that begs is, at the end of the night, which team will end up and go home with the #1 pick? And Jay, this year it seems like there is a strong consensus for Blake Griffin of Oklahoma as the #1 pick.
The prize in the lottery was Blake Griffin out of Oklahoma. The Grizzlies had high lottery odds. There was a lot of anticipation for that lottery, and then they come out second. So they just missed on Blake Griffin.
I knew that Blake as a rookie was not going to outplay Zach. And I had known Zach. I've known Zach since he's been in the league. And I told our front office, I said, I think Zach is available.
He's the same position, so I was like, okay, I could see myself getting moved.
Now they're motivated to do something, and we're all gung-ho on it.
And it was basically a salary dump for the Clippers. I mean, the Grizzlies traded Quentin Richardson, who they just acquired, who was on an expiring contract.
I felt like giving away. Q Richards is a good player, that's my brother, but, no disrespect to him, but I just felt like man,
With the first pick in the 2009 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Clippers select Blake Griffin.
This is a great day for us to bring Zach here to Memphis, get him a uniform, and get him started on his Grizzly career.
There were a lot of question marks around Zach Randolph. It was something of a reclamation project for the Grizzlies.
How much of your past do you think will follow you to Memphis? How much do you want to put your past in the past, leave it there?
I don't even really want to talk about the past. I just want to start a whole new chapter. From this day on, I want to erase all that. I do care about what people say about me and what people write in paper, because a lot of people don't know me, and I got a bad perception. But I want to start a new chapter and just move forward and don't look back.
He was one of the most productive players in the league at his position, but frankly, at that point, it bounced around. He'd been traded from Portland to New York for not much return, really. He'd been traded from New York to Los Angeles for not a lot of return. They bought low on Zach Randolph.
You knew what his talents were on the floor, but of course, then the other stories of what was going on off the floor followed right behind him.
How weary has it been to move so many times and to have the past brought up? And this is a long time ago. I'm sure you're a changed guy in sport. So is this a wearisome journey?
It's real tough because, people tell me, it's tough because every time, they mention my name is, Jailblazer or Portland this and that, but just got to keep positive. And like I said, I want somebody to write a good article. Don't talk about nothing, change the chapter, start writing good articles.
There was a negative tone around him when we got him, but I felt like, knowing Zach, that it was going to be okay.
As you try to put the past behind you, are there people in your life you spend time talking to so that the mistakes you made in the past don't happen again?
I talk to my mom, close people to me, but just my family, just spending time with my family more.
In my first year here, 2007-8, when we won, I think for the second straight year, 22 games or something like that, Mr. Heisley took me aside and gave me a piece of advice off of his business career, where he said, I didn't get to be a billionaire by not taking chances. And things aren't going to be handed to us on a silver platter here in Memphis. So let's take some chances.
Well, Memphis is always in home, and, I have friends here, so coming here, I always knew people in Memphis, so it was kind of exciting.
He'd been coming here all the time. And my mom, his mom, they used to be at every game. So it was like his second home. He was coming here every summer anyway.
Even though he's not from Memphis, it's like he's from Memphis. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't like, it ain't like he had this Memphis connection once he got to Memphis. He had this Memphis connection before he actually got to Memphis. When it got announced that he was actually gonna be a Memphis Grizzly, to us, that was like, it was like room for somebody that came from your hometown. That's how we took it.
You know who you average your most points against, one team in your career?
The Grizzlies.
Yeah, what was it about?
The family and the friends. They always was at the game, so I always wanted to show out against Memphis, and me and Powell coming in the same class and just competing against him. This was always fun. I always liked Powell, we always got along, but we was competing each other. I wanted to go with him and he wanted to go with me.
I went to a game when Zach Randolph played for Portland. There was a drunk guy that sat behind me, and Zebo had a monster game for Portland against Pau Gasol. And the guy was standing up behind me, drunk, and he was screaming, 16 ain't half of 50. 16 ain't half of 50. Anytime a player plays well against you and he's on the opposing team, it always stands out to you more. And Zebo had massive games against the Grizzlies.
I remember watching him and you know, actually me playing against him, he was one of those guys that was so tough to guard. My reaction was, you know, we're getting a hell of a player. We're getting a focal point offensively that can, you know, transform us and give us, you know, like I said, a direction.
You got to remember, we had traded away Pau Gasol. We didn't know what they had in Mark. They didn't have a lot on the roster. So it's like, how long until we're going to be good? And at least with Zebo, he had put up numbers already in the league. You knew that you were getting a good player.
It was great from day one. I remember the first trip to training camp. I think we went to Alabama, and he was wonderful the whole ride through, and he was awesome. During practices, off the court, bus ride.
Camp going real good. Getting a lot of work in, and keep it up. Keep building from here, you know?
Obviously, a lot of people were so worried about Zach off the court and how he was going to be in the locker room. He's the perfect example. Don't believe what you hear. You know, you have to see it for yourself.
You know, honestly, he was a guy I kind of looked up to as far as being a high school athlete in Indiana. I knew all about Zebo being in Marion High School, which is the same conference as my school, Lawrence North, and I just knew him to be a star, and for him to actually be on my team and be coming to Memphis, I was like, wow, that's unbelievable. This is the guy I looked up to, watched play, and I knew he could go, and that's what you know, we all knew that.
Push it, go attack him. It's you and him. Good, good.
To put it in that time and space, the Grizzlies had won, I think, 22 and 24 games, something like that, for 3 consecutive years. Permanent lottery fixture. Couldn't give tickets away. Now we bring in Zach.
Zach Randolph, that first year in Memphis, was just fantastic. He really felt that his career had been reborn.
And you could see it right away. Very early in the season, and when he started rolling at the level he was and taking games over down the stretch, that there was a real vibe between Zach and the city. He fit here. I mean, he mentioned that early on. He's a small town guy. Memphis fit for him in a way that New York and LA did, and even Portland, even though Portland's a smaller city, is too far away. I mean, he's a Memphis type guy.
Coming to Memphis, just think it was God, man, because it was just like a puzzle, like a fit, you know. When I got here, and I was what they was missing in the post, and being that presence in the paint worked perfectly.
Zebo was one of a kind. You look at a guy who's not, you know, jumping 45 inches in the air and dunking on people, and not the fastest, not the quickest.
Grizzlies get to it. Zebo. He doesn't dunk. It's like slow motion.
We're teasing about, oh man, how you can't even jump over a Saturday newspaper and this and that. But he had that knack for finding that ball.
Well, Marc Gasol's got the matchup. Good. Tip pass, Randolph lays it in.
We kind of played off each other. I knew where he wanted it, so I would just give the ball to those great hands that he had, and he would just turn around without jumping, baby hook, bucket, and no one could stop that.
The Grizzlies just need to pound it to him. Just pound it to him every time.
Zach's been smart too. He went right, and then he gave him a little up fake and everything.
No matter what he does, what he did before a game, after a game, like between the lines, once that ball is tipped, there's nobody who's gonna play harder. Nobody who's gonna be more physical. Nobody who's gonna outwork him. And that's what you loved about Zebo, was his ferociousness when he played, and just the way that he competed. He always was that guy, regardless of what situation he was in. All of us, we respected that and got behind that.
Conley splits in his face. Oh my goodness! A takedown by Boozer, and Conley goes down hard.
I think that's where our identity started to focus.
I believe we wired to the basketball in a similar way, where you have to take care of one another and always have each other's back. He protects you, very old school.
I think we just came out with a different mentality now. I think a big reason why is Zach.
And all-star Zach Randolph. How amazing is that?
It's amazing. It's amazing to see Zach as an all-star. So I think he's well deserving of it.
What's it feel like putting that thing on?
I feel good, man. Hopefully I can put a couple more on before my career over, but I feel real good, you know, being here, be with all these great players.
There's Randolph on the funnel.
That fell in your hands, you didn't even jump. Should dunk that.
He's helped this team so much, and the city of Memphis, and I'm just proud of him. I'm happy to see him there. Happy to know that, you know, it's finally got a teammate that's an all-star, and to see it, you know, the way that he's progressed over the year. I mean, it's just amazing what he's done.
Once they came in and pretty much ran the offense through him, he became that man on the scouting report. You know, you're going to double him every night, so he has to learn how to pass out that double team and do all the things that it takes to be that leader on that team.
He was really good for us when he first got here, and I had talked to Zach, and I told him, I said, you know, you've been a 20-10 guy most of your career, and I said, but you haven't gotten the notoriety, and I said, mainly because you haven't won. And I said, winning is more important. It's about the team. It's not just about you and your 20-10. And Zach embraced that.
Oh, I think there was some consternation when the Grizzlies first traded for Randolph. And partly, I mean, there were people from the media in Portland who were coming on local Memphis radio and telling horror stories. Like, oh, just wait till, you know, you see what's going to happen off the floor. And instead, what people found in Memphis was a player who played really hard, was obviously really productive, but seemed to buy in defensively a little bit more than he had before, was more of a team player than certainly his reputation had suggested in other markets, and a player who, instead of an entourage from Portland people had told horror stories about, you had his two daughters sitting front row right behind the media seat.
Once he got here, he found his niche. The community welcomed him with open arms.
Someone was like stepped on the court, the fans and the city. They embraced me. It's, you know, hard knock town. You know, people don't make mistakes. You get knocked down, got up. They was accepting. They wasn't worried about that. They was worried about the real Zach Randolph and getting to know me and in the community and talking to the people in the city and the fans. And they seen my heart. And they seen, you know, what type of person I was.
Despite how the critics initially panned the trade, we overnight went from 24 to 40 wins. Now, that may be lost in the shuffle of all that was going on in the NBA at that time, but that was huge for us. Finally, show respectability, you know, to win 16 more, and actually have a player that the town really cared about. And then that set the platform that we were able to jump off and then get into the playoffs.
And fittingly enough, that is how it ends. And after a 4-year drought, the Grizzlies return to the NBA's postseason party.
The team had been so great down the stretch, and they've been so good defensively, that they were one of those sneaky teams that they were going in as an 8 seed, but their record was amongst the top teams in the Western Conference for the last couple of months leading into the playoffs. Much more formidable than your typical 8 seed. So you're hopeful, but again, you're the 8 seed and you're playing on the road and you're playing against San Antonio.
At this moment, satisfied at your accomplishment of making the playoffs. But the season's not over, and there's also now a second season, so let's rejoice in that. Let's go, bring it in.
Playoffs on 3. 1, 2, 3, playoffs.
You gotta remember, we've been to the playoffs 3 different times. We've gotten swept every time.
Well, I think the fan base had not bought in yet that the team had a real chance. The team itself had a lot of confidence. They sought out the Spurs. They chose to be the 8 seed, essentially. They would have been the 6, and they essentially kind of took their foot off the pedal in the last couple games of regular season because they thought the matchup with the Spurs was better for them.
Going into that series, we know who our biggest strength is, and that was Zebo. And, you know, Coach Hollins, all of us players, we had been kind of groomed from day one. You know, you feed that ball down low. You make sure the passes are right. If you can't pass to him, get out the game. Like, that's who we were.
Throw it in the post and cut. Tell Sam to throw the ball in the post. Rudy's gonna make the feed into Zach.
Yeah, Zebo was coming off of. I knew he was a problem on that block, and we was gonna go through him, feed off of him.
Zach had been an offensive force all year long, so I wasn't worried about, you know, I need you to get X more rebounds or X more points. You know, it was a given that he was going to come out and play well.
We just kept our same plan. That's how we was playing the whole season. They were giving me the ball, they were playing off of me, and I was making plays. And I told myself I'm gonna have to be aggressive, you know, from the start. That's what I did.
Shot clock down to 4. Randolph starts a drive, goes to the cup and is fouled.
We were fearless. We didn't care. Like, we didn't care what the odds were. We never cared who we were playing, how well they were doing during the regular season, their history. We knew we could beat anybody. And if we can beat you 1 game, we can beat you 4 games.
Playoff style basketball really was Zach Randolph style basketball because there was bully ball. Throw it to the hand, let me go to work, let me do all the dirty work, let me play hard, let me play physical. And his style of basketball and playoff style of basketball merged beautifully in that series.
They couldn't guard him, and they couldn't keep him off the glass.
Every single game, it's like they just got better and better, and it was fun to watch.
Zach Randolph could not be stopped by Tim Duncan or Antonio McDyess, and that's all you need in a playoff series. Do you have a decided advantage?
Zach was Zach. I would be a little lifted, so they cannot just have a big guy underneath the basket to double Zebo. All of a sudden, the guy underneath the basket is Tony, so it's a guard. Or Zebo can just shoot it right over you because he had that mean step back off his right hand, or drive all the way to the basket, so he was wonderful.
Going against the Spurs, if you're gonna beat a team that good, he's gonna have to be incredible. He's gonna have to be otherworldly with his games, and he was.
Randolph, 4 to shoot, casts a 3, it's through! Holy cow, Zach Randolph! Do you believe Memphis?
Team kind of like backed up a little bit because he knew he was so worried about the drive. He backed up, and Zebo, like with nothing but confidence, raised up and hit the 3 right in front of their bench. I think that was kind of a heartbreaker for them. Like, the series, like I don't think we can beat them. And you can feel that energy on their team.
One would probably think that you'd like Zach to shoot the 3 rather than continue to lay it in against you. So it's a heck of a shot.
Just the beginning, baby! Just the beginning!
Game 4, sort of the Bill Street beatdown where they'd really blown them out in the second half, was an amazing atmosphere.
3-1 series lead, an emphatic 104-86 thumping.
That whole spring really galvanized the city in terms of the stands, in terms of outside. Going into Game 6, the Spurs had just won a Game 5 in overtime, and they had won it on some really crazy shots. So I think a lot of people had the sense that the Grizzlies maybe were better, and that the Grizzlies were going to win that series, but no one wanted to go back to San Antonio for a Game 7.
I could tell before the game, like, we weren't going away without a win tonight. By the way Zebo approached it, the way Zebo got out there to warm up, the way he was in the locker room, like what he was talking about, his thoughts at the time was just like, yeah, we getting ready to move on, like, let's lock in, he was a little bit extra on that end. That was unique for us to see. Because normally he talks, but he's not super vocal. At that time, he became the guy, and he used it.
Before the game, it was my mindset, not to let them get out of here, whatever that may be. And I was ready. Whatever way I need to play to get this game, if they're gonna double me every time, I'm gonna pass it. I'm gonna make the right play. So, and that's my mind.
Game 6, you're at home, the building is rocking. This was an opportunity to take out the #1 seed, which doesn't happen very often.
You're playing with house money, man. You're the 8th seed. By the time it gets to the 4th quarter of that game, and he takes over that game, and it's really not even the whole quarter. It's really like the second half of the 4th quarter.
Unstoppable. If he's in rhythm and he's feeling it, like I don't think I've never seen anybody on that block dominated like he did, because he had the whole package.
Zach just took over the game. They had nobody that could guard him. As we're playing, I'm trying to call plays, and Zach is obviously telling Mike Conley, bring me the ball, bring me the ball. And he hits one shot and he hits another shot. And I went and sat down and I said, well, I don't have to call any more plays because we're just going to throw the ball to Zach.
Yeah, big fella wasn't really too chimed in on the plays. Because, ultimately he knew the ball would get to him.
I throw it down there and my little self run into the corner and watching this man do work, and it was amazing.
Randolph trying to do work against McDyess. Forced into a fadeaway. Hit again!
When he come out and play, man, he give his all, so he burned it down. I mean, when he get on the court, he give his all. He don't want to get off the court. He mad at any partners, friends, whoever ain't doing what they supposed to do. We back friends when we get off the court.
All of us were just like almost saying like, oh, don't shoot that. Okay, like, nothing but net. It's like, dang, Like everything he's putting up is going in. Everything he's doing is affecting this game. You could feel the energy just from the crowd that he was providing.
Man, Z-Bo was ready. I saw it in his eyes. I think he just saw something that they couldn't stop him. The triple team, the double team. He didn't care how many people you put at him. He was getting us to that next round. He had the fade going. See, now when he hit him with the jab and then the step back fade, I knew for a fact, like, McDyess, the end of his career, whatnot.
Tony McDyess was looking around and like, okay, how do we guard these guys?
Supernova stuff. That will never be replicated. No one will ever have a 6-minute run like he did.
Memphis, believe in the movies and in Memphis. Can an 8th seed defeat a number 1 seed?
That fourth quarter against the Spurs in Game 6 in 2011, it's, considering the meaning and the magnitude of it, it's probably the best quarter of basketball I've ever seen a Grizzlies player play. One player completely taking over a game, in a closeout game, in a playoff series. That was maybe a pinnacle stretch of Grizzlies basketball.
What I remember about Zach in the series against the Spurs in 2011, you know, the Memphis Grizzlies are looking opposite the 4-time champs with this incredible roster of guys who are Hall of Fame players. What struck me about the period where he absolutely explodes and carries the Memphis Grizzlies, you see guys in certain moments that they don't want the ball. Not only did Zach want the ball, but he was willing to go get it when the game was hanging in the balance. He wanted to carry his teammates home, and to be able to do it in the form and fashion he did was just absolutely incredible to watch.
You talked a little bit earlier about this being a city that has embraced you. Your career has not always been a smooth one. What is it about this city and this team that has allowed you to thrive?
I mean, I love this city, man. They love me back, you know what I'm saying? So it's good. It's a blue-collar town. I'm a blue-collar player, a hard worker, and it's the same way with the town, you know. Ain't nothing been given easy to me. It ain't nothing given easy to this town, so it's a fit.
It was just coming from the heart. It's really how I feel. It just came out like that, and that's what it was, you know, 100% true. I'm a blue-collar player, and it's a blue-collar town. People here to make mistakes, and they're not one of these cities that's gonna look down on you. You know, they're gonna try to help you.
To me, Zach Randolph and the city of Memphis were just a match made in heaven. There are certain players that just fit in the city within which they operate. Why was that? Well, Memphis is a city that has seen its share of hard times. You know, Zach's career didn't start out without its bumps and bruises, but Zach loved the game. He paid a price. He was willing to dig it out of the dirt. Boy, just watching that Memphis fan base, that city, be lit on fire by a guy who was just such a perfect fit. It was an absolute pleasure to cover that team.
Z-Bo carried the city on his back that game. That big fella had a lot to go up against that day. The city knew and the city was behind him, and I thought Z-Bo wore well.
People going crazy and people chanting his name as they're leaving the arena. I mean, it is the greatest performance in Grizzlies history.
Yeah, Jack Randolph!
They stood all outside the arena. They was all up on the gate. Man, Memphis loves Z-Bo, man. Like, Memphis, actually, this Z-Bo's home right here.
Was it different from that point forward?
Very. That first time winning that playoff series for the city and for the organization, man, it was great. After that, it was like, come here, baby, like it's home.
Z-Bo from the inner city. He didn't have no silver spoon. You could tell just on the outlines of just us sharing just our regular stories that, man, Z-Bo grew up rough. He chose basketball as a way to provide for his family, and not only that, give to others, and it shows.
How you doing? Man, you're a blessing, man. Man, no problem, man. How you doing, man?
You're truly a blessing.
Most people remember him paying utility bills in Memphis. That was not something that the Grizzlies Community Relations Department came to him and said, Zach, you need to do this. It was something that Zach lived it in Marion, Indiana, as the son of a single mother who really had hard times paying the utility bills and sometimes had the utilities shut off because they couldn't pay.
I've been through situations like this coming up, you know, single mom, brother, and 2 sisters. So going without, stuff like this. So it's something I'm used to, and this is a blessing for me to help y'all.
We were able to help at least 100 families every year with their utility bills because of Zach's support.
This was just a miracle. It's restored my faith. It really did.
How old are you, 7? Oh, I got a little girl, she's 7 too. See, yeah.
He always wanted to give back in our community in the ways that he wished somebody could give to him when he was growing up. And so that partnership with MLGW and MIFA ended up being something that was like really impactful every time we did it here in the city.
This is Zach Randolph.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
How you doing?
Appreciate everything y'all did.
Yes,
God
ma'am.
bless you.
Yeah.
Lord knows to do.
This is bigger than basketball. This is, life, and people struggle every day, and people have hard lives. They show me a lot of love here, and I show love back.
That was what was also so special and impactful about Zach's support, that he was generous with his financial support, but he was also so generous with his time.
All I want to tell you is, like, when I grow up, I want to be just like you.
I appreciate it. I do this out the bottom of my heart. I don't do this for no TVs or no camera, no none of that. I do it because I've been blessed, and I've been in situations, a single parent mom on welfare, and struggling to make ends meet, so I know what it's like, and I'm just happy to be able to give back to somebody that's, that needed it and that deserve it. So, about my heart, I just do it out of the kindness of my heart.
I've been hearing things about you and shoe drives and things, food donations and stuff like that. And you seem like you real, and I'm just glad to know you. Appreciate it.
Thanks. They come to me because they know I'm his friend. So they still talk about Zebo right now. Man, my grandmama, he kept my lights on. I love him. I love him. He kept my auntie lights on.
Appreciate being able to help y'all and being able to, it's a blessing for me. And man,
oh my God.
I appreciate it, and man, best of luck to you, brother.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Man, I appreciate
Yes, sir.
everything. They just,
yeah.
Man, I was trying to get some. I was about to go and try to get some assistance today. But my wife, she working hard. And this is my whole reason right here.
Right.
I mean, I've been disabled.
Yeah.
I hurt my back, and she is my entire everything.
Yeah.
So that's the person I would like to thank for everything.
One thing about my mother, she always, it wasn't the nicest thing on the outside or the biggest, but whatever it was clean. Kept a clean house. She kept food for us.
Zach had a mother that was really, really strong and really, really proud, and did the things that she could do to make sure that he understood like what good character was.
I just work all the time and sleep when I can. Thank you all so much for coming.
And I wish the best luck. God be with you. And like I said, it's a blessing for me. And I'm working hard. You working hard. That's all we can do. And praise God.
I can't believe he's here.
Zebo, he had one pair of shoes. He used to wear everyday jeans. It was hard for Zebo coming up, man, but it made his heart even stronger to help other people. It made him want to help people every day.
Give y'all $100 on each card. The reason why I'm gonna give y'all this money to teach y'all how to manage it and pick what you want and then manage your $100. I'm gonna pass out a couple of these cards to y'all.
Me and my brother and sisters, we had our names on a Christmas tree for people to pick off and get gifts. I was going to the Salvation Army, getting us some food. We getting up in the morning and going through that line and getting food. So I can feel what they feel because I done been through that.
I could remember, being, in the same situation when I was young, but I didn't get to come and go to Walmart. They had brought me and my brothers and sisters the gift to the house. So, it's great. It's great to see the kids run around, picking out stuff and with a smile on their face, and happy and, laughing, having fun. That's what it's all about. Sleep with that tonight. See what your Hello Kitty. The bike fresh too, boy. Say, what's up? Say, give him a deuces. Say, deuces. I see you got a basketball. Like, you working, huh?
Yeah, that's the first thing she said. She said, hey, take me to where the basketball's at.
I get it from my mother and value she taught me.
I bought the earrings and necklace for my mom.
Okay, well, you got something for your mom. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's what I probably would have did. When I was your age, I probably got my mama something. You a good boy. What's your name? Marcarion. Where you go to Cummins? I'm gonna have to check. What's your teacher's name at Cummins? Because I'm going back over there. Come to school and have your coats on and keep them zipped up or you won't get no cold. And You know, come to school, work, and listen to your parents and stay out of trouble.
Zebo got a big heart. Him telling me his upbringing, where he come from, those are the people he pretty much want to give back to. He want to, you know, them the people he want to touch. Them the people he want to let them know, like, I ain't forgot about you all. He want to go, you know, in the North Memphises. He want to go in the roughest neighborhoods and pass out turkeys.
The one thing that Zebo never did is he didn't forget that there was a time where he was one of those kids that had to get a free turkey or was there for a handout.
Happy holiday to you, sir. Yes, sir.
I thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's my first in 3 years ever having something to cook for Thanksgiving.
Oh, man,
and I can't help but to thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Jesus.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Thank you.
Zach is a person that has made mistakes, but Zach's character is really, really of a good person, of a good man. Zach learned a lot throughout the trials and tribulations in his early life.
Do we stay in that position at all time? Or just like that? Have you ever caught him walking up, moving around the camera?
Turn to the side, just that.
No, he moved. He was trapped for about 2 or 3 days underneath a little pipe. I mean, pipe wasn't that big, and I had seen the story, and you know, I got a truly deep love for this animal, and I wanted to help.
We're gonna call Zebo.
Zebo. We're gonna name him Zebo. Yeah, we got a little Zebo.
I reached out to Tia at Pit Bulls and Parolees, just, you know, told her the story, and she's like she was on the way, and she here, and it's a good thing for little Zebo and be rescued and, you know, have another life and have a chance to be with a family one day. That's why we're here. I donated $10,000 to the rescue center. You know, this is my love. You know, I love dogs.
How many times do we hear from society? Oh, these big sports figures, they make a lot of money, they don't really care, they get into trouble, all these stereotypes about sports figures. Here's one that came forward who doesn't just talk, he walks the walk.
We did realize how given Zebo was from the jump. We'd all take the same roads home.
Kids used to be out there. Zach made his way to go through there every day to get them kids hundreds of dollars every day. And there was one little boy stopped, used to wait on the game to be able, he used to be there every day.
There's a kid that might have been, you know, 8 or 9 at the time when we first encountered and met him. He's like, hey man, let me hold some money, let me whatever, just like, you know, talking and whatever.
But he was a kid Zach always wanted to, you know, help because he was just always out and his parents weren't with him, and you know what I mean? And Zach tried to do everything to help that kid every time he had a chance.
I forgot that little kid name. But yeah, Zebo was just that free-hearted, man. You see a little kid out there late at night, needing some money, getting some food. Zebo, the type of cat, give a kid $200-300.
His mom, dad, none of them weren't there for him. Zach found that out, so Zach was trying to reach out and find who his parents were, because he was always giving them money because he was outside and he used to not eat, and you know what I mean? And Zach felt sorry for that kid, and he always wanted to help him. So he always made his way to bring him some money through there every game. Every practice, every game, he made his way through there to see that kid.
And he'll be pulling up in a Rolls Royce, $600,000 car, having just a regular conversation with people.
Might have been a lot of us guys who said, nah, like, I don't have any money or I don't do this. But like Zebo was like, hey, I'm gonna roll my window down, you know, I'm roll all 4 of my windows down, like, here, take this, take that, you know, and that's just, it's different.
I feel like because, you know, we're familiar with the struggle, we know where we came from and we knew where we was going and what we was trying to get, and we can also see that type of pain in somebody else's eyes. You feel what I'm saying? Like when they trying to, they look up to me like we role models. So it's like we gotta set those type of examples.
He doing good in school?
Yeah, he doing good, but he's kind of slowpoking around. He's screwing up. He ain't screwing up like track practice. He ain't been going to track practice. Boost him up here in ninth grade.
Oh yeah.
You get on him, and then when I get on him, he's saying I'm being too hard on him. Not being hard on Marines.
Yeah,
I don't play that shit.
right.
I don't play.
Why you
Talk
ain't
to him
going?
about it.
What's up, boy? You all right? What's up with you, huh? Why you ain't going?
Talk to him about it.
That's important. What them grades like? That's how important. Get your grades up and listen to your mom. You know you gotta listen to mom. She gonna tell you what's right. You know that. That's all I had was my mom. I ain't had no daddy, so my mama was my daddy. So you got to straighten up and do the right thing. Make something of yourself. It ain't got to be in sports neither. It can be whatever else. Just do good in grades. Be a leader. Don't be no father. When you hang with some boys your age, make sure they ain't out doing the wrong thing. You be the leader. Don't let nobody tell you what to do. If they want you to do something, you know what I mean? Especially if it's bad. All right? What's your name? Tay? Jalen. Jalen Rose. Can you hoop?
This community here in Memphis is kind of like where I come from. So that's even me more to get back and get out there, and if I can help a kid put that, put them drugs down and put that gun down and try to go to school and try to learn a craft or trade. And that's what it's all about.
It's important to let them understand. I grew up in this type of environment. You can make it out of this. Give them hope. What's up, boy? Yeah? What's up with you? You good? You stay in trouble? You ready for school? You get in bed early tonight before you can get, have you some energy tomorrow in the morning. You going good to school? What grade you going to? Fifth? Okay, that's your favorite subject in science? That's good. What grade you in, pretty? Third. In the third grade.
For him, it was where he came from and how he grew up and the people who cared for him and loved him. People looked out for him. He wanted to be the same for the communities in Memphis, and that was cool to see a guy truly do it.
He like a hometown hero. You would really think he was born and raised in Memphis. Like, that's the type of support that he get from our city.
There was an authentic connection between him and the community. Any player who's good enough heart can go and try to pay, MLGW bills and deliver turkeys on Thanksgiving, but that doesn't mean the people they're helping will see them as themselves. The people he was helping saw themselves in him and vice versa. It wasn't, a famous athlete coming to help the community. It was, he could be part of this community.
Let a young fella care. It's my son right here. What's up, man? You might say need to see him. So this is what it's all about. It's right here. It's all about this type, This is where you can see your blessings from.
That value that my mother taught me, I want to instill it in them. They've seen the rough side and the good side. This is where I come from. It's not where you come from, it's how you go and how you treat people and the values you have.
Allie Allen was a St. Jude patient that we came across. Originally, it was a note passed around, an email, telling about the struggles that she was dealing with while she was in St. Jude and saying that she was a really, really big Zach Randolph fan. We went over to the hospital to surprise her.
The first time I met Zach was at St. Jude at 10 days after my second brain surgery.
So I went out to the second floor to the meeting area, and out comes Zach Randolph, and all smiles throughout the room. He had balloons. They just hit it off right away, and he seemed really touched.
Him being there was exciting thing for me to meet my favorite player.
Unbelievable the difference it made in her mood when she was in some of her really tough days in a wheelchair, being fed through a PICC line and a pump and a backpack is how she would eat. We'd be over there at the hospital and the Grizzlies would come by, and especially if it happened to be Zach, her spirits would just go up. And sometimes we'd be like, you've had a long day, Allie, do you really want to go to the Grizz game tonight? Sometimes it was in a wheelchair, sometimes it was being dropped off at the front doors, but her answer was always yes.
Even if I didn't feel good, I went there, I brought a little puke bag, a little bag for me to throw up in if I didn't feel well. But that was something that kept me going.
That night of the game, they were going to present Allie with the Allie Allen Day certification from the mayor of Memphis and Shelby County and a jersey. Allie knew nothing about it. She thought she was being called down to the court to help shoot some t-shirt cannon into the stands. And next thing you know, the announcer's like, we've just been told that tomorrow is officially Allie Allen Day in Memphis. Here to present her with the award is her biggest fan.
That was just a cool experience to see her crying and just so happy and excited, and Zach being present and connecting with her. That one interaction became like a real relationship. She originally had a sentence, of not being able to be around for, it was going to be less than 3 months in the time frame of when we were connecting Zach to her, if I'm not mistaken. And she's in college now.
And I'm so grateful for the smile he puts on her face every time that the two of them are together. The big, huge bear hug with a smile from both of them just, makes my heart so happy to see her that happy. And he's given that to her repeatedly.
My name is Allie Allen, and I have been a St. Jude patient for 3.5 years. I am a St. Jude ambassador. I went up there and I told my whole story in front of a lot of the team members and fans, and so I was super nervous telling my story, and I kind of broke down. I would not be here right now if it weren't for you guys and St. Jude, so thank you. Zebo was the first person to give me the standing ovation.
Zach is one of the most generous professional athletes I think I've ever been around, whether that was visiting patients in St. Jude. I think we remember, those of us who have been in FedEx Forum, that there was a little boy with Down syndrome, that he loved Zach.
That's my man right there. Man, I watched this the other day because it comes up a lot on a timeline on IG, man. That's what it's all about. Making that kid right there smile and happy. And
You remember that kid in that video, right?
yeah, Will. Wow.
Yes.
My boy.
They're walking over
I
there.
think he saw you.
Big fella, what's up?
Cuz you, bro.
Man, you done got big on me, man. What's up, man?
Dude.
Huh? You looking good, kid. Your dad, huh?
Yeah, Grizzlies.
What's up, man? What's up, man? This is my brother right here, my little brother. Man, I love you, man.
He's Grizzlies. Ain't go to the game.
Yeah, we'll go to the game. Of course we will.
See, but you go to the game?
Yeah. You can go to the game with me.
He's gonna be the star there.
Me?
I'll go.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I go with him.
You go with me anywhere you want, man. I got you.
Zach Randolph?
Yep.
That was you.
Mm-hmm.
That was him.
Yeah, still is.
Still me. Still here.
Yes.
Still kicking.
Coming off the first playoff run that the Grizzlies made, he was in his late 20s, very much in his prime at the time, and he was dominating games from the power forward position, not that much unlike Dirk Nowitzki was with Dallas, in terms of a shot maker against any kind of defense you throw at him at that position. And there was a real reason to believe that that formula could take the Grizzlies deep again. Then there's a lockout. The season is delayed. It starts in December. Fourth game of the season, they're at Chicago, and O.J. Mayo gets knocked down. He rolls into Zach Randolph's knee.
He had a second degree tear on his MCL. You know, obviously at that time, everybody kind of like, oh, that's not good for us.
It pivots to, all right, Zebo's hurt. What are we gonna do? Because he's gonna miss a good amount of games, and he's our all-star guy. You're coming off this first success. He ended up missing, I think, 30-something games. It's almost half the season.
Couldn't be out there with my guys and when I'm playing for a championship and trying to get as far as we can. Not being able to be there, it was very tough for me.
At the time, it shocked us. It shocked everybody. A lot of people thought, he'd be out for the season. But his training, his work ethic, and the things he was doing behind the scenes, I knew he was going to be ready. He was doing lunges, step-ups. I'm talking about this the most I've seen them work out in a long time. And I'm talking about the guy was getting like real built to like a WWE looking kind of guy.
To watch him every day, to see him working, to see him not, leaving the city to go find help somewhere else. He's like, no, we're gonna do it here. We're gonna train here. We're gonna get everything done. And I'm gonna get ready and I'm gonna be right and ready to go when it's my time. To see that whole process and then him, not complain, not, really be very vocal about him individually during the whole time was impressive, because a lot of us would be like, man, this sucks. This is what I got going. I got to do this rehab, that rehab. He came in talking about everything under the sun except for that.
Whenever we would have or even start to go that route of how you feel, it was an immediate, I feel good, I'm gonna be fine. Let's just talk about life in general.
I'd be like, man, you all right? I asked him, and while we working out, I'm like, man, you sure you can hit that on the step up? Oh yeah. Like he was more like trying to show his competitive spirit. Like, no, I ain't. I'm getting back. I'm almost there. He never wanted to make it seem like he couldn't do something.
Don't worry about me. I'm gonna be all right. Big bro gonna work out and get back and try to get back out there with you. And them guys knew that. And they know me and they know what I'm about. So they knew I didn't like, sitting out. Some guys act hurt and want to play hurt, not to play, but that ain't me. I love the game and love being out there with my guys.
Zach did work hard, and he came back. Down the stretch, I kept him on the bench.
Right.
Not that Zach was a bench player, and he let me know that on a few occasions.
Once you bang, you want to play. So it was hard for him to come off the bench, go through that process. It wasn't easy. I remember him being a little frustrated about it. He was a no excuse guy, ever. So If it's 20 minutes, okay, it's gonna be a hell of 20 minutes, and then I'm gonna work my way up.
The last game of the season, I don't know who we were playing. I started Zach, and I knew when we started the playoffs, Zach was not going back to the bench.
What Zebo wanted to prove was, number one, that the Clippers thought that they had found their golden child, but Zebo always felt like he was that they never nurtured to be it. Now you throw the fire that he had against the Clippers and now against this young kid who's supposed to be this upstart, and to watch those two go into battle, I thought were some of the most fun games.
They got Blake Griffin, they were willing to give Zebo away. They chose Blake Griffin over Zebo, while nobody else thinks that's outrageous. I'm sure Zebo thinks, why are they getting rid of me? All right, I'm gonna make you pay for that decision.
They brought Blake in, that's why you kill him. He's soft, he was pissed, you know what I'm saying? Cause when somebody tell you somebody else coming in, they better than you, or you think they better than you, you got to show them they not better than you. And when he got out there, every time he played Blake Griffin, man, he tried to show him every time.
I'm sure it was a little personal for Zach. Anytime Memphis and the Clippers battled, there was always a heavyweight battle.
Now, I'm sure he was extra motivated that they would take him over him when they drafted. But he was a young guy. Zach was getting older. I understand. Zach now understands. But at that particular time, Zach took it personally. So every time he went against Blake, he was trying to tear him up. And he did most of the time. So, there was nothing surprising about that. Blake is a big flopper. He would try to get Zach in foul trouble and do stupid stuff that, the referees weren't aware of, and Zach didn't like that either.
Come in the locker room raging hot, telling me how much of an actor this guy is, and he wouldn't want to catch him in a dark alley after 10 o'clock no time. So those type of energies was in effect. Playoffs, hostile environments, both teams want to fight. More so importantly, it was business, nothing personal, I believe, but I don't think those guys will be golfing anywhere soon.
Not no hate, but we just both the same positions, and I didn't feel like he was better than me, and he felt the same way, and we went out there to battle. It's gonna be a Royal Rumble in there, we gonna bump, so that's what we did, man. You look back at that, and you see them rivalries and them games was fierce, me and Blake slamming each other, and now, you look back and you're like, man, we definitely left it all out there on the court.
At the very heart of it, I think they respected each other. Probably didn't like each other a whole lot, but I think there was a level of respect because both of them were all-star caliber players.
5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Clippers win it this afternoon, 82-72, and they will advance to the second round while the Grizzlies will end their season.
That playoff series loss to the Clippers was really gutting, because Zach had been hurt earlier in the year. He's trying to play through it. He's going up against Blake Griffin.
He got beat up pretty good by all of their brutes that they had on their team.
It was frustrating. I was coming back off that injury.
It was tough for us knowing that what he was going through with his knees, and we needed it. Like, that's who, we weren't going to go anywhere with an injured Zebo because it just wasn't the same. Not
having all of his physical abilities, well, that just now enhanced the advantages that the Clippers had over this Grizzlies team.
It hurt. And it hurt bad. Zach, he take his losses bad. He don't like to lose.
That's our rivalry, and for them to beat us, and so that was very tough for me. It was a tough summer. And a motivating summer at that too.
We could tell that series that we lost did something. It turned on something, another level that he wanted to get to. And when he showed up to camp, like, he was doing things different.
Heavy lifting that Zach never did, and he was doing some heavy running that Zach never did in the summer. And so when he came back, he was in so much better shape that he was ready to go. It wasn't like, I got to work my way back into shape. He was ready to go, so he was fired up.
And I worked out that summer, like, I came back with a vengeance, and I wanted to be there for my guys, because, even though when I was hurt, it's part of the game, but you still feel like, laying your teammates down. So just coming back and with that chip on my shoulder, like, hey, man, let's go.
His mindset that preseason was noticeable, and he had no issues telling you about it. He was hungry. He was hungry. He was going to show you. He was going to show you what hungry meant.
One of the idiosyncrasies of the Oklahoma City arena is the fact that the visiting and home locker rooms are basically across the hall from each other. There was always the possibility that hostilities on the floor could spill over into the back of the house.
There's a play where Marc Gasol kind of puts Perkins in a blender and scores on him. And as they're coming back down the floor, Z-Bo's yelling at Perkins, "Bust his butt, Mark."
You know, Mark really wasn't that talkative back then, but you know, I was. You know, if somebody try to bully him, you know, I got his back. So it was one along that line. And you know, KP, he a dog like me.
These are two guys in the league who have reputations of enforcers. If you get two enforcers that run into each other, there is no back down. No, I can't back down from you, you can't back down from me.
So now Perkins is mad. And now, they're at the free throw line, so they're close to the microphone.
Me, I was sitting on the bench, and I look up, and I'm like, yo, it's the big fellas. And then I'm like, not the big fellas. It was like I was torn in between the two. I'm like, yo, but then again, I'm like, yo, are they serious?
And I'll meet you by the foot.
They got going, and Zach asked him to let me see those hands. And once I heard that, I'm like, okay, no, we don't want to see anybody's hands right now.
Perkins is gone. Randolph is gone.
I thought we was about to get it on. I thought we was about to square up, so he took off running. So I thought he was trying to run. I thought we was about to get it on.
When they first got ejected and both sprinted down the tunnels, I think we all kind of knew a little something, like, because it's like we know how close the locker rooms are. There's literally just a door in between.
Once I saw them run towards the locker room, I just want to say a quick prayer.
Kendrick was selling Wolf tickets, and Zach tried to go to the locker room and finish it with Kendrick. So, but it was nothing. He never went to the locker room.
Did you actually get in their locker room?
Almost. I was close.
You can tell us now if you did.
Yeah, I did go in their locker room. I ran through his locker room. I wanted to see what he was talking about. We got into it a little bit. You know, the security took me back over there, and the league fined us or whatever, so. But you know what? That's part of the game, man. You know, when you got your emotions like that.
Z-Bo was so charged up that day. If we had celebrity boxing back then, that summer would have been a celebrity boxing match with those two guys.
When he gets angry, like, it bothers him, and so he'll sit there and talk to himself or just talk out loud. It's kind of like replaying the events. Like, nah, man, I guess, nah, that ain't gonna happen. Nah, you ain't gonna talk to me. It's kind of like everybody believed Z-Bo. We knew he was not bluffing.
When I had Z-Bo on, right after this happened, we brought him on the radio, and he said,
I'm done with all that bluffing on the court, because them guys do a lot of bluffing, so, I'm from the Bluff City, man. We don't do no bluffing, man.
I think the language that Zach used, I don't bluff, fired people up.
That's a phrase where we from. We use, like, somebody pump faking or bluffing or, I ain't gonna do nothing, just talk. So that's what they come from, just growing up a word that we use in our neighborhood.
Just seeing, that kind of, I guess, enthusiasm to start a year, it was, I think, a sign of things to come.
Randolph one-on-one with Gortat. Z-Bo. Shot again! Holy cow!
Zach came back, sort of reasserted his place at the top of the pecking order for that team. Zach is back into the place he was in 2011. He's the offensive leader. He's the front court partner with Marc Gasol, the great chemistry they had.
Once you have, a guy like that being hungry and showing you that message by action, not just saying it, everybody gravitates toward that and brings the team together.
Good tip in. Keep going ahead of that. I can't believe it!
Good job, Zach. Good job, big fella.
Z-Bo has been an inspiration this year when you start talking about a transformation from a young player to a veteran player. He just wants to win. But this is probably the best that he's played all around. It's a testament to him wanting to and then going out and doing it.
His work ethic was just him just thinking like, yo, I'm gonna do a little more, I'm gonna do a little more, I'm gonna do a little more, I'm gonna come back, reinvent myself, transformation. It's gonna be bigger and better than me. Turned into a better pro.
You go into that spring sort of back where you had been in 2011 with this core four, Zach Randolph, Marcus Saul, Mike Conley, Tony Allen team with Zach Randolph, pretty much back where he'd been before knee injury.
Leading up to the playoffs in that position that we're in, we had such a good year as a team, awards and stuff like that, that like this felt like a year that could be very special. And not only is it special, we get to play the Clippers, and for Z-Bo, there was nobody else we'd rather play. That's where we wanted to be. We wanted to be in LA. We wanted to be playing in front of their fans.
So fired up. I was very, very fired up, and as we all was. We remember that getting put out. You know, I remember me being injured and couldn't compete really, and them taking it to us, and we remember that, and that stuck with us the whole summer, especially me.
This was the height of the rivalry, and it was the height of the rivalry between Blake Griffin and Zach Randolph, and there was an element of payback.
The fact that we played each other back-to-back years in the playoff series, went to a 7-game series with them, it just sort of became like a rivalry. Two teams that played hard, and they usually got into like wrestling matches or whatnot.
Game 1, Clippers handled it fairly easily. Game 2, it took a late shot by Chris Paul to beat the Grizzlies, and even though the Grizzlies were down 0-2, they actually flew back to Memphis feeling pretty good about it.
Well, we got to go home and whole serve. I mean, that's what they did, and we almost got one here, and it's not doom and gloom. It's just it was a tough, hard-fought battle, and we got to go home, and there's going to be 2 hard-fought battles there.
I was very high, and I think we did call a team meeting after that. And we came back, 3rd game, we was at home. We stood up.
He was, as much as the team was, as much as all of us were, tired of hearing that this city, this town, couldn't beat a town and city like LA. With the players that they had, the amount of money that they had, the recognition that they would have, that underdog mentality, it was something that the team had, but it also bled over to us.
One thing about Memphis, like, they'll support you for real. It's the closest it gets to a family.
I thought it was awesome, and I felt like if Z-Bo doesn't like Blake Griffin, I didn't like him.
It was almost like the fight went throughout the entire organization.
You couldn't get 2 more franchises more diametrically opposed between Memphis and the Los Angeles Clippers. They were Lob City. They wanted to be flashy. They wanted to throw lobs. They wanted to dunk. They wanted to style. They wanted to profile. And the Grizzlies just wanted to grit and grind.
The way we played, we knew we were frustrated teams a lot of times because it's not a fun way or easy way to play. And you're not going to feel great after that game. The next day, you're like, we're going to play this team again? Teams were not happy to see us in the playoffs.
Game 4. Be a big game for both of us. They're gonna play it the same way. They're gonna come out ready to fight.
We took it to heart. We're gonna stick to our roles and be the best of who we're gonna be. Hold each other accountable. And Z-Bo was the catalyst of leading the way on the offensive end. We all did a collective job of stopping their stars.
But we haven't done anything yet. All we did is come home and took care of business at home. Now we gotta go to LA and gotta try to get one.
There was a lot more dedication and a locked-in spirit to this was going to be a series that they were going to win.
Zach Randolph, I think by himself, decided the series was going to come back to Memphis and there wasn't going to be another Clipper win in the series. So after going down 0-2, the Grizzlies win 3 straight. They're coming home for Game 6. And this has to be the moment for the Grizzlies. You do not want to risk a Game 7 going on the road.
The forum going crazy. Everybody like hyped up, emotions flying everywhere, man. And that moment was a very special moment for me.
These games were at night. By the time people would be filing into the forum, I mean, it was pandemonium. Team had taken over the city. Everybody loved the team, and everybody really hated the opponent.
That whole game was bedlam. It had the feeling of an exorcism going in. There was just so much intensity in that game among the players, you know, among the fans, not just Zach and Blake Griffin.
The building was as loud as I have ever heard it. It really harkened to the days of the Mid-South Coliseum and Jerry the King Lawler and pro wrestling.
We got going and we rolled them. The Clippers lost their cool. They saw that their season was slipping away. They came at us from a non-basketball perspective, and I knew Zach wasn't going to take it for sure.
He cool, like as a person, he cool, calm, but like if necessary, like he can get like that. But we don't try to do that. We like to keep it. You know what I'm saying?
Blake Griffin gets into it on the floor with Randolph.
It felt like that the building was levitating in a way. Like it was almost sort of a blur while it was happening.
We're in a wrestling town, and you actually had guys wrestling on the ground. Like, to end up with guys in a wrestling town, I told you it feels like wrestling, and it becomes wrestling. Like, it really became wrestling.
What felt like was chaos was something that I felt was normal for our team, in a sense. To see Z-Bo at the bottom of a pile of people, I was like, oh shoot, here we go. Let me get over here and try to break this up.
Every rebound was a battle with Blake and Zach, and it was coming. Zach ended up on top of him. I don't think he choked him, maybe a little bit, but I don't think he meant to. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. You're gonna have to ask him.
You know, Blake's strong, man, so I think he had got me locked up. Really not picking no fight, because he already know I don't think he won no fight. He locked up with me. You know, he's strong, so I had to kind of brace myself, because he was gonna slam me, so we just tangled up and fell, and then he put the elbow on my head. You know, he's slick with it. He dug the elbow in me, and that's why I tried to grab him by his throat.
So what is Z-Bo's mom doing as this?
Jumping up out the seat, get on my boy. She ready down and run out.
I wanted Z-Bo to like straighten him like that anyway. Like I needed Z-Bo to get that moment. Like hold on, you lucky these referees coming. Like he needed that little straightening for real. I don't think he ever had problems with him after that either.
Later in the game when Zach gets thrown out.
It's Randolph that's been thrown out.
I think Randolph just got tossed.
Crowd went crazy. They all loved it and kind of just added to his legend there. You know, what better way to go out than get kicked out?
He's yelling the expletives back towards the Clippers.
I can't say a word or repeat a word that was being yelled at that time.
He was definitely yelling some crazy shit to our bench.
Saying a lot of bad cuss words. A lot of cuss words. I was cussing all of them out. Telling them, man, get that plane ready to send your ass back to LA.
The biggest thing that I remember was, I told you so. The feelings that he had for that organization, it was more than the Blake Griffin going there. It was the fact that he felt as though they gave up on him. To now get to this point and to get this franchise to that point, the told you so was the biggest thing, mixed with some other flavorful words.
He's basically skipping down the sideline. Cody runs over and starts popping Zach's jersey for him.
I didn't want the camera to really get, the vocals. You know what I mean? So I just, wanted to rep Memphis at the moment. Just wanted to give him his kudos for his left, but I don't want to repeat what he was saying to the Clippers.
It was great, man. It was a great feeling to get that win and just be like, look back and from last year, like, yeah, we got y'all back.
When the Memphis Grizzlies have been at their very best, Zach Randolph was the best player on the floor. He's not the all-time scoring leader. He's not the most decorated player in franchise history, but in some ways he's probably the most important player the franchise has ever had.
And the Memphis Grizzlies advance to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in franchise history.
Winning 20 games a year, just 4 or 5 seasons ago. And, management did a great job, getting guys in, guys out here.
Z-Bo, I don't think he understands what he did for all of us as players. He's like, man, you know what? Give me the ball. I'm gonna make this happen. I'm gonna make this happen. I'm gonna make sure that y'all, we gonna win games. Y'all don't have to worry about it. That allowed us all to grow in our respective careers.
Another deflection. Gasol. Yes, and the foul.
Who he became in the future is like a direct effect of what Z-Bo did for us.
Conley to his right, around a Randolph screen, right wing three. Oh, 3 on the board for Mike Conley. Oh, what a big triple for the Grizzly point guard.
On that last three-pointer that you made using Zach's, what did you see on that play?
Zach set a great screen, gave me some space, and I just visualized making it and was able to knock it down.
That's why I'll forever be indebted to him, forever love him for what he did and sacrificed for me everybody else around him.
Zach loved his mom to death. They were real close. I'm talking about super close. You know, the day she passed, we had to fly. It was on Thanksgiving morning. He was so hurt, man. I had to hold the man in my arm all the way flying down there, man. Because he was like, you know, he would feel like that was the last moment of his life.
This big guy, this strong dude that's always been like that guy, like broken down. Like, it's like, you know, unreal.
Family for him meant everything.
Not your brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my mom.
Hey, Mom.
That's my daughter.
We knew how close he was with his mom, his brother, and everybody in his family. Like, they were always around him. Walking to the family room, and like, I'd see her and see him.
You can see at the games cheering, they sitting right there at the game. You can't miss them. But that was just what you see right there. Like when you go to the crib and see him, the cookouts, and having Mom Duke around.
When she passed, Zach, it hit him really hard. It hit the whole team because she was, you know, part of our family.
It was like a disappointment to the city when Zach hurt, everybody hurt. If something going wrong with you and your family, he's there for you. So people just always wanted to be there for Zach.
The love was overwhelming. The message I was getting from the, you know, city and, you know, how much, you know, they were behind me and supporting me, telling me to take my time. The same with the organization. And I really felt it, man.
It was a really tough time for Zach. And he was away from the team for a long period of time.
Welcome to the Z block. Sign in at the door. Welcome back, yo. Welcome back.
I remember the first game he played after he had lost his mother, which was at FedEx Forum. The whole arena is aware of the moment for Zach and what he had just gone through.
That moment was big. Just the love, man. You know what, man? This is not like no other NBA team I've been on. A genuine feeling and knowing it's real.
There was a lot of emotion in the building, and I remember there being a particular moment.
Saric, a double clutch three, rimming, no, tip, no, another tip, no, and Zebo wins the rebounding battle.
What I remember most is just, you know, how much he loved the game in that moment, because it was a reminder of all those people, his mom, everybody, his family. Like, it was his place to be Zebo, be the man his mom raised.
Man, very, very emotional for me. I feel like, you know, the guys really love me and been missed, and vice versa. You know, just being out there with your guys, competing, it's nothing better than that.
He knew the whole city, obviously, us as a team, we would have his back. That moment was very emotional on the floor and after the game. But that's, you know, that's one more example of, you know, who Zach is.
Games played low. The lower you are, the better you are. I like how you was opened up last game when you was catching it up. You did it more. You did it better. You faced up, and you went with your jab step, and then you went your Euro. Jeans is crazy, man. I see myself in her, and just how she get the offensive rebound and her second jump. You know, it's fast, and her knack for the ball, man. And it's crazy. And she a workhorse. She love to work. She gets better. She like challenges. Yeah, that's good right there. She's a smart kid, gets straight A's, great kid. So I see her, man. I see her in me, the way she runs, just everything. There you go. Gotta show it though. Move me up out of there.
Man, Zach, man, he love his kids, man. I'm talking about. Actually, I just talked to him. You know, CJ's birthday gonna be tomorrow, and him and CJ was together all yesterday and they just riding and kicking and stuff. You know, he love his kids. He pick his boys up. He pick his girls up. They take them to practice. He go to games. He's doing everything that a father's supposed to do, and I'm really proud of him that standing up as a man and doing the things he's doing.
You come off with the ISO. That's what I was telling you about the play that they ran for me, Coach Yeager and Coach Hollins. The ISO, the 4, the ISO period. I'm looking in their eyes, I can see. You got some fear in you, you scared, and I took advantage of that. But I ain't have none.
don't care. Came from bigger city, you had a lot of attention and big lights. You have to beat us.
If you're just tuning in, it's been the Z-Bo Show. Does not matter who's guarding it.
He represented the city at all levels. On the floor, like in Memphis, like he was not scared of anybody.
Came and gave it his all, competed every night, the warrior mentality, and making a difference in the community.
Hoodie Crow, yeah. He got A's and B's.
A blessing for me to help y'all.
Every time, they mention my name is Jailblazer. I just want to start a whole new chapter. I want somebody to write a good article.
I feel like Z-Bo mean everything to the city. I feel like Z-Bo is Memphis. When you say Memphis, you looking at them.
I'm done with all that bluffing on the court because them guys do a lot of bluffing. I'm from the Bluff City, man. We don't do no bluffing, man.
Love this city, man. They love me back. It's a blue-collar town. I'm a blue-collar player, a hard worker, and it's the same way with the town. Ain't nothing been given easy to me. It ain't nothing given easy to this town, so it's a fit. Hell yeah.
You barely could dunk it in the NBA.
How you want me to dunk it? You want me to throw it up? You want to throw it up?
You definitely can't do that.
You can throw it up. I'll catch it from you. You want to throw it up? How she want it? How you want it? How you want it? How you want it? How you want it? Oh my God. Yeah, old man still can do it.